If I woke up 30 pounds heavier and I wanted to lose it all before the end of the year, this is exactly what I would do. And it's the same proven system that I use to lose well over 50 pounds. And it's the same system that is helping the guys in my mentorship right now. But I do have a disclaimer, because if you follow this plan down to a T, people might start thinking that you're on Ozempic. But if you are serious about finally feeling confident and being secure in your own body, then just follow these steps. Now, something that people skip that robs them of losing weight and robs them of making any progress is going to be skipping finding their maintenance calories. Your maintenance calories are just where you're not losing or you're not gaining weight. It's just your baseline calories. Now, to do this, you can go on a website and you can type in TDEE calculator, punch in all of your information, and that is going to give you a number. Bank that number, because we're going to come back to it later. But the weirdest step that confuses 99% of people that I've coached privately, or for the guys that are inside my mentorship, is this one. And that is that we are going to practice losing weight. How does one practice losing weight? Well, I'm going to show you right now, okay? We are going to practice the positive habits that are associated with losing fat, i.e. weighing yourself every single day and tracking your calories. We do this before we create the deficit because we want to create a stress-free environment. Being in a calorie deficit can be stressful as it is. Then trying to learn 2 new skills and habits on top of that, in my opinion anyway, you're setting yourself up for failure. So you're going to practice weighing yourself every single day, weighing your food and tracking your calories for 1 to 2 weeks, however long it takes you to fully break into that habit. But speaking of planning and preparation, I think it's time that we move on to the gym. So what are we going to be doing at the gym? Well, let's talk about how many times you should go to the gym. And really that depends, but I wouldn't go anywhere over 5, maybe 6. But if you're somebody who is new to the gym, I always recommend to go even 1 to 3 days a week. We keep things simple and we keep them sustainable. This way you can stay consistent, as it is an easy target to meet and you're not going to be overwhelmed. Now, as to what you should be doing in the gym, I always recommend push-pull legs. I've been doing it for years, and as you can see, I've had great results. For the specific exercises, in reality, it really doesn't matter as long as they are safe, as long as you enjoy them and it's easy for you to progress on that exercise, i.e. do more reps or do more weight. It is perfectly fine. For your cardio, we're not going to implement a set cardio day or a set cardio routine yet. What I want you to focus on is getting either 8 to 15,000 steps a day, somewhere within that range. Max out your steps first, and then eventually when your weight starts to plateau, that is when we can look at start adding a cardio session here, a cardio session there. That maybe lasts around 30 minutes. But most importantly, to make sure that you are building some muscle and losing fat at the same time, which you can do if you are severely overweight, or simply just maintaining the gains that you already have. What's going to be important here is going to be hitting your protein target. That is a non-negotiable. How much? 1 gram per pound of your body weight. If you're 200 pounds, that is 200 grams of protein. I wouldn't go anything under 180. Of course, if that's your measurements. Now here comes the most interesting part, because now at this stage, I want you to go and grab your maintenance calories that we got at the start of the video. And from that, we are now going to create the calorie deficit where we start shredding the pounds, we start losing the fat. What I want you to do is, right, depending on your experience, you're going to subtract either 250 to 750 calories. That is a wide range, but it all depends on your experience. I just want to give you that flexibility. Obviously, if you're a less experienced person, you're going to be on the lower end of that. If you have more experience, successful experience, it doesn't count if you lost the weight and regain it back, then you can go for a higher or a bigger calorie deficit. Now, discussing calories and this and that, it's all great, it's all fun and games, but what about the nitty gritty? What are you actually going to be eating on your weight loss journey? Well, it's funny because I actually say that you eat whatever you want. Unfortunately, that's not entirely true. There is a small asterisk, there's a small caveat there. But when I say eat whatever you want, I just mean whatever you can stick to eating for the next 6 months, ideally longer. And the best way to do this, right, is to get 3 to 5 meals that you currently eat and that you enjoy. Not ones that you absolutely love, not ones that you hate, but ones that are I could do that. Get those ingredients for each of those meals, put it into ChatGPT and ask it for a lower calorie ingredients for those meals. You're gonna eat that, okay, the same thing every single day. This keeps things simple. It reduces your decision fatigue, as like I always say, complexity kills weight loss. We don't want too much variety. That's too much tax on our brain that we do not want to pay. And the best part of this strategy is that since you're eating foods that you already eat. You're not, I promise you, you are not going to feel like you're dieting. Now, on top of this, if you do want to add a little bit of more normality into this, if you can, then you just apply the 80-20 rule, okay? 80% good stuff, which would be your 3 to 5 meals that you've planned out, and then some little extras that just spice things up a bit. Maybe it's a bit of dark chocolate. Maybe it's like a cookie or a biscuit that, you know, you're not crazy about, but you can have it and you can put one down. That is going to be the best approach to dieting if you want consistent results, especially if you want to lose the weight by the end of the year. Trust me. It works every single time. Now you're with me. So far, so good. It sounds great. But what happens when you get into the midpoint or the latter stages of a fat loss journey? Now we have to talk about one of the cores of any fat loss journey, and that is going to be sustainability. Now, when we're dieting, during the midway point, we're going to reach a time where things get a little bit tough. It's going to be harder to stick to your diet. Maybe you lose a little bit of motivation, although I hate the concept of motivation. You know my stance on that. I'm not going to bore you here. We have to get over this little slump that we have. So what we're going to do is that we're going to take something called a diet break, and that is where you're going to eat at your maintenance calories, okay, for 1 week. You're going to train the same. You're going to do everything that you usually do. You're just going to be eating more calories than usual. This is going to help energize you. It's going to help replenish you. It's going to help you push harder in the gym. But more importantly, you're going to come back ready and refreshed after that week to go and start losing fat again. 2 things that you need to remember. Number 1, you are going to see an increase in the scale. Don't panic, it's not fat, it's natural. You're eating more food, likely eating more carbohydrates as well, which I recommend. So that's just water weight. Number 2, this is not an excuse for you to go off your diet or fill those extra calories with junk, because coming back to your diet, you're going to be thinking about all that junk that you ate, and it's going to be in the back of your mind, plaguing you. Even though we're eating more, we need to be more disciplined. The main reason for this break here is just to give you kind of a mental reset and stop the cravings from being too intense. Again, to make things clear, you are still going to be eating those 3 to 5 meals every single day that you planned out. That doesn't change, you just have more of it, or maybe you add a sauce, but do whatever. Just no dirty calories. Now, everything I just mentioned is going to get you 80 to 90% of the way there, but there's some small tiny things that you can dial in that are really going to max your results and up your success rate from like 80 to 90 to like 99.9%. One of those things is incredibly obvious, but I can guarantee you right now, you are not getting enough of it, or you're not getting a good quality of it. That is sleep. Make sure that you're waking up and you're going to bed at the same time every single day. Ideally, keep your phone out of arm's reach and make sure that you have a bedtime alarm as well as a wake up alarm. And next, which is super simple, but so many people neglect it, is going to be staying hydrated. This is going to help take your mind off of food. Sometimes what can happen is that we can mistake our thirst for our hunger. We don't want that, because that can lead to us consuming extra calories that we could have used later. So make sure that you're drinking around 3 to 4 liters of water a day. Here's the part where I need to break it down, and I need to be brutally honest to you, as I always am. And if you follow everything that I have just said, you, my friend, are going to be unrecognizable by 2026. But if you want to get that dream body just that little bit quicker than everybody else who's embarking on this journey, and have the confidence that comes with it, plus direct access to me and a ton of resources that are going to make that happen for you, if you know that is something that you would find value in, somebody holding your hand through your journey and course correcting you, helping you avoid all the mistakes that I made, and making the transformation quicker than I even made mine, person who is serious about change, because we only work with serious people, you can come and join the mentorship. The link for that is going to be in the pinned comment. Otherwise, I will see you in this video.